I'm Julie Hassan, and you're watching the private side of Everyday Dish. Today we're going to make a rich and chocolatey chocolate sauce. And the best part is it's guilt-free because there's no added fat. The only fat comes naturally from the cocoa powder. So it's one that you can eat with abandon and really enjoy. And we also actually use it at our cart. We top our chocolate cups with this sauce. So if you're wondering and you've been to our cart, this is the chocolate sauce. All right, to begin with, we're going to need a big pot. And we're going to add into that our brown sugar and something called instant clear gel. Now, if you don't have instant clear gel, the sauce won't be thick. It'll be like a runny chocolate syrup, which you can still do. But I like the thick nature of it. It's more of kind of like a fudge sauce, and that's the instant clear gel. So I'm going to add that into it. The deal with instant clear gel is you want to add it in with your dry ingredients if you can and mix it really well before you add your liquid. Otherwise, you're going to have some terrible clumping issues. So this is really important. So just mix it as best as you can. Don't worry if there's some lumps because you can whisk those out once you add the water to it. So mix that well. All right, there we go. Now we're going to add our water to it. And just add that. Again, whisk it well until it's smooth. As you can see, I like whisking. Whisking is good. Give that a good fix. What you want to do now is if you have any lumps, you want to get them out now. You want to dissolve them because you don't want them later on to form sugar crystals. Okay. Then we have corn syrup. Now it's just a little bit of corn syrup. I don't worry about using little bits here and there. Because what corn syrup does is it helps make the sauce like almost like a little chewy. You know how fudge sauce can be a little chewy sometimes? That's this. And it also helps keep the sugar syrup when you're boiling it down from forming sugar crystals and being gritty, because there's nothing worse than like a slightly crunchy chocolate sauce. Not good. So corn syrup does double duty, and it's really important here. So we're going to just add our little bit of corn syrup in, like so. And you can use organic corn syrup. That works just fine. Okay, whisk. All right. Then what we're going to do is we're going to bring it over to the stove, and we're going to bring it to a simmer. And we want to, once it comes to a simmer, we want to simmer it for 2 minutes. Okay, now it's at a simmer. So we're going to simmer it for 2 minutes. I've got my timer right here. And I've been cooking it on medium-high heat. If it's boiling too much, you'll want to turn the heat down a little bit because you just want like a nice gentle simmer. And you can whisk it occasionally. And so we're just going to kind of let that sit for the 2 minutes. Okay, it has simmered. Now what we're going to do, we're going to turn off the heat for a minute while we whisk in the cocoa powder. This is why I like using a big pot, so there's lots of room and the stuff doesn't go like splashing out of it. And whisk that until it's smooth, because you don't want it to stick to the sides and burn, and you don't want clumps. Give it a nice whisk. If you're having a hard time getting it to dissolve, because sometimes it can be kind of clumpy, you can always very carefully use a stick blender for this. But when I say careful, I mean that hot splattering chocolate sauce I've had happen before, and it can be a little painful. So whisk works best. Okay, this looks like it's smooth now. So what you want to do is we want to turn the heat back on, just bring it up to a simmer, and then turn it off. So, and whisking continuously because you don't want the cocoa to burn. We're just sort of tempering the flavor, cooking it just a little bit so that the flavor of the cocoa powder is a little mellower. Oh, and also I like to use Dutch processed cocoa. I think it has a much more intense chocolate flavor. I really like it. So that's what I always look for, and that's what works really well in this recipe. Okay, so this is just back up to a simmer. See the little bubbles? All right, we're shutting that off, and we're adding vanilla. Pure vanilla, really important. And I can't say it enough because imitation stuff is just made from all kinds of crappy things, so use pure. All right, here we go. Now, if you happen to have a little peppermint extract, you could add a little drop in and make a chocolate peppermint sauce. You could also put a little splash of just a tiny little drop of almond extract if you wanted chocolate almond, stir in a little coffee if you wanted a mocha flavor. So there's so many things you can do with this sauce, and it's so good. And I want to show you real quick how thick it is. And it will thicken up more as it cools too, and it's refrigerated. And it'll last in the refrigerator. I like to keep it in a canning jar, and it'll last, oh gosh, at least probably 2 weeks. So you can just keep it in your fridge and use it. Can you see that? Nice and thick. As you need it, you can also stir it into non-dairy milk and make chocolate milk. So many fun things, as well as over ice cream. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Julie Hess, and I'll see you next time. And so good. Now go make chocolate sauce.